Okay. Anything else I can find out? Guys, anything else? Anything else you can think of, any measure or any analysis? So I have the top performing categories, bottom performing. So these are the analysis which you will be basically creating charts for after you have derived your KPIs, right? And you will be getting the insights from these analysis only, right? So you have to do your research and think through it, like what all analysis you can do by using visuals. Because so I have just stated some of them. There can be a number of analysis provided what all data you are having. Okay. So next thing is, okay, let's then stick back to the Power BI. We will connect to the data source, SQL Server. Now, when you see this option, which is direct query, this is not supporting all the data sources. This is only supporting those data sources which are in real time, right? For example, if you'll fetch a CSV file or a Excel file, it won't show you direct query option only because it's not a real time thing. Data is updated on in the database or in the data warehouse or in the data lake on real time basis. So that is why it is showing me that option over here, real time. Okay, direct query basically. So I will give the name of the server as done yesterday. Properties, Control C and database. So I haven't imported the data na? Last time. Yeah, I did not establish the connection as such. Okay. Then databases. Adventure works, right click. Sorry, not refresh. Properties. Copy, paste. So I'll be going with the import option over here and I'll click on OK. So till this point, now, so as per the business objective, this was the data source I was provided with. And I have to fetch the relevant tables as per my business requirement. What is my business requirement? कि मेरे को I want to analyze the sales performance for the resellers. How the resellers are performing in terms of sales. ठीक है? So that either I can increase my, like wherever there is opportunity, I can optimize my cost and increase the revenue. Okay. So now everyone is aware what is a dimension table and what is a fact table. Right. So even let's say if you're not given with table or fact over here, you should be able to identify which one is a dimension and which one is a fact table. Okay. Now let's see, these are the tables I'm having in this data source. So the very good way to understand is which tables you should import is you should always understand the fact table first. Okay. So मेरे को क्या यहाँ पे analyze करना है? Reseller sales, correct? So I will get the fact table for the reseller sales. Basically, whatever sales is happening to the resellers, this table will be updated very frequently. Okay. So what is the dim table? The table which is not updated very frequently. For example, let's say product table. So product, if a company is having, let's say 100 products, okay? So how many records that product table will have? 100. Now it's not happening that company is launching every product, one product each day. No, it might launch one product in 6 months or in a year. So one or two records will be added every year or every 6 months. So very frequently not updated. Similarly, let's take an example of employee table over here. Employee table, company, let's say hire every quarter. So max to max 3 to 5 records will be updated in the employee table, not very frequently updated. Let's take an example of what else we can have. Customer table. So it's not happening that companies are acquiring the customers on daily basis. Even if depends, let's say if one record a day, not very frequently updated, right? Or 5 records a day, not very frequently updated. Now, if I talk about the sales table, let's say 500 records in a day or 500 records in an hour, 500 records in a minute, or 10,000 records in a second. If I talk about the giant e-commerce companies, right? So this table is getting updated very frequently. So this is a fact table. Okay, so that is the difference between the dimension table and the fact table. So I want to, what is the business requirement? I want to analyze the sales performance for the resellers. So I will first check for the fact table, which fact table I will need over here. I have multiple fact tables. Which fact table I will need? Reseller sales, right? Reseller sales I will need. So now if I check reseller sales, these are the columns I'm having in the reseller sales. So till this point, difference of what? Fact table is updated very frequently. Dimension table is not updated very frequently. So क्या चीज गाइस ये कैसे डिफाइन होता है? How it is able to not define? How is it? ये वाला part आपको या ये वाला? So that's a part of the database developer or data engineer. Well, sometimes it will tell you whether it's a dimension table or not by renaming it in such a manner, and sometimes it won't. Usually they prefer this method, but let's say if you're not given with it, you should understand that product categories can never be a dimension fact table. It is always going to be a dimension table because not updated very frequently. Clear? Sorry? You will get a tabular data. It is not necessary that you will, generally it is mentioned dimension or fact, but let's say if it is not mentioned, you can't just depend on the naming over here. You have to identify yourself. Okay? Okay. So till this point, I have my reseller sales table. See, if I talk about what is AdventureWorks? AdventureWorks is a company. It's a cycle company for which I'm analyzing the sales performance of the resellers. Okay? So this company can have multiple fact tables. For example, for the product inventory, there's a fact table. For the sales happening on the internet, there's a fact table. There's a finance fact table, currency rate fact table, because currency rates are also changing very frequently. So currency rate fact table we have, but I don't need this fact table as of now for my analysis, right? So why should I basically simply import this unnecessary data? So I will be just importing the reseller sales fact table because this is, I need the sales amount for the resellers, correct? Okay. Now till this point, so how, just tell me how Power BI is able to understand which table it is linked to. This fact reseller table is linked to which other tables? How Power BI is able to understand this part? Tell me. Huh? Schema. The schema that is defined in the server, it is basically reading the metadata. Metadata is what? Data about the data. Like how many columns a table is having, what's the data type, which is the primary key, which is the foreign key. So all these data it is reading from the schema, and accordingly it is linking the tables and showing it to us. Okay? So you can see, so one quick way to understand which all tables you need is you can simply go through over here. So it's not always possible because I have the data from the same database, from a single data source. If I'm having data from multiple data sources, this is not I'm going to proceed. I have to then check each and every table. Yes or no? Okay. So let's say this is my fact table, which is having these columns: sales order number, order line number, order date, due date, ship date. So I have the product key. What is the product key over here? Which type of key? Sorry, primary key. Which table is it? What type of keys are these? Primary key. What's the definition of a primary key? Foreign keys. Sales table will have foreign keys. One orders can be placed multiple times. One product can be ordered multiple times. Yeah. So employee key यूनिक कहाँ पे है? यहाँ पे शो हो रहा है, इसका मतलब यूनिक नहीं है ना? So it is not showing all the records. It is few of the records it is showing. It is not. It is never going to be unique. Even if it is, still it is a foreign key because it's not in the product table. Just give me a second. So whatever foreign keys I'm having, that means I can simply import those tables. That is one way, or I can find out which tables this reseller table or fact table is connected to. Okay, on schema based. So I see over here, let's say I have a product key. So I need reseller table. I need product table. Okay. So these all are the columns in the product table. It will show you how the relationship is defined between one table and all the other tables in the SQL server, because it's a RDBMS system, relational database. Okay. Then second one we have is reseller key. So I need resellers also, obviously. Then I have promotion key. So let me take promotion also. Here's the promotion table. Then what else I need? I need a employee key. So name employee, sales territory key, name employee, sales territory. Then I need what? Order quantity price, total product cost, sales amount, dim date यहाँ पे है, dim date, ship date, name employee, product, promotion, reseller. Yeah, almost we have selected all the tables. ठीक है. Now let's understand. ठीक है. First of all, why I'm not importing this account table? If I see this account table is linked to which tables? Name account. Okay, it's a value. So name account and name employee and fact finance. Am I using any of these tables? Especially it should be connected to the fact table. Okay? Just focus, it should either connect to the fact table or some related table. So I'm not using any of these tables to which it is linked to. So why should I use this into the analysis? Right? Because I'm not going to get anything from it. So I'm not considering this table. Same in case of currency also. Same issue I'm having. Fact internet says I'm not performing any conversion rates over here. So I'm not getting this table also. Then customer table. Ideally, I should understand the customer behavior in terms of reseller sales, right? But what I see over here is it is linked to geographical table and internet sales table. I am doing the analysis for the internet sales or reseller sales. So there is no possibility that I can connect this table to the reseller table, reseller sales table, fact table. So I won't import this as well. There's no need. Then div date. If I talk about div date, what it is having is just like it is having the names, weekday, which are some of the extracted columns. Okay. So if I will require some column like this, I can simply use some functions and get the output. If I want month number, I can say month function, day number, day function, date. If I want date, I can use date function for that. So I don't need the entire table, just unnecessary columns to just make my Power BI file heavy. So I won't even do this. This is the first reason. I'll tell you the second reason later. Department group. Okay, so do I need this table, department group? Yes or no? Why no? Why can't I use this table? Tell me, why can't I use this table? See, I'm doing the analysis only for the sales. तो मेरे को सिर्फ sales department का data चाहिए ना. Why would I do the analysis on department level? Because I have only one department for which I'm doing the analysis, which is sales department. So why would I need this table? I don't. Correct?
sales and marketing department का काम है.
Sales and marketing.
Department.
So manufacturing. So it is both. It is both. Same. Okay. So I don't need this employee table. Yes, I'll need the employee table. But you can see over here that these tables are linked with these tables also, right? ठीक है. ये employee table है. अभी मैं data cleaning का कुछ भी काम नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I'm just deciding कि which tables I need. इसके बाद जब tables import हो जाएगी, then I will decide कि among those tables which columns I need. ठीक है? So yeah, these table talking about depth geography table. So yeah, it has these geographical areas, and it is connected to customer table, which I'm not importing, reseller table, and sales territory table. So what is the use case of this? I would like to know what are the locations of the resellers, in terms of sales, right? So I will need this table. I will need this table as such. I'm keeping it. Then organization. Do I require this table? Organization table. Yes or no? Why? Correct. I am doing the analysis only for this company. If you see the name of the database is what? Adventure Works. So this data is already filtered for the Adventure Works, right? The database is already having a filtered data for the Adventure Works company. So I don't need this table because I'm not doing any separate analysis for the company. I'm doing the analysis only for a single company over here. Okay. So I don't need organization table, product table. So if I see product table has product key, okay. But if I understand, यहाँ पे I have product subcategory key. यहाँ पे product subcategory key है यहाँ पे, but there is no product key. करेक्ट. प्रोडक्ट की अवेलेबल नहीं है. अब देखो, हम जब भी while we will select the tables for importing it and then selecting the columns, you have to keep these few points in mind. पहला कि what all variables or what all tables you will be using or variables in that you will be using for analysis. ठीक है. Second, are those tables having columns which can help me in building the relationship between those tables. ठीक है. That means you need to take care of the keys part also, and you need to take care of the columns in those tables which are you are going to use for the analysis. These two things you need to keep in mind while importing the tables. ठीक है. So if I check over here, I have the product key. ठीक है. Now I'm not sure कि product key है वो available है कि नहीं है fact table में. So we have seen that it is available though in the fact table. We have the product key over here. Yes, I have. There's no promotion. This product key I have. ठीक है. So that means I don't require product category key and product subcategory key क्योंकि वो तो यहाँ पे available है ही नहीं. तो correct. How would I establish the relationship using those columns? Those are just unnecessary columns, right? But what would I need is I would need product table where I have the product names, but I would like to know what is the product category and what is the product subcategory of that. ठीक है. So for that, if I see over here, this is product category table. So I just need one column or two column from this table. Specifically, I need one column which is product category name. Okay. For this one particular column, I am not going to basically import this entire table. Okay. What I can do is, if you see this product table, where is the product table? Yeah, this one. I told you it is taking up the relationships from the schema and telling you which tables are linked to each other. So if I see this, product subcategory में I can expand this and I can simply get the product subcategory name. But अभी भी मेरा product category name तो नहीं आया ना. I got the product subcategory name. ठीक है. So what I will do now, I will go to product subcategory. कहाँ पे है? A product subcategory, if I check, then it is connected to which table? Product category. I can expand this and I can get what? Product category name. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे hierarchy क्या बन रही है कि I have a product table जिसमें product category से linked है. I can expand the product category. I can get the product category, product subcategory name and the dimension product table. ठीक है. क्योंकि product subcategory किससे linked है? Dimension product table से. Now I will expand the dimension product table and from that I will just get the product category name. ठीक है. So that means कि I don't need to import these two tables. Just using the linkage, I can expand and just get that one particular column from that entire table. So this is how I'm going to keep my dashboard light and simple. Because ultimately we are going to do analysis that is also going to take up some space जब भी हम KPIs derive करेंगे. Okay. ठीक है. Till this point, everyone clear? Now, if I check geographical table, this geographical table is related to reseller table. Correct? So that means reseller table is also linked to the geographical table. So if I just want the geography of the reseller, why would I need to have the entire table as such? I can simply expand the reseller table and get the geographical details. So I am not going to import the geographical table also. And then I have to check one thing whether geographical table and reseller geography is same or not. Okay? क्योंकि geography may give me what? Okay, it is reseller table, so I don't need this because it is not connected. I don't need this. Let's say if I check for the reseller now, it has geographical table, and I can expand it and get it. ठीक है? Okay. ठीक है, done. Proportion table, I think. So fact is, if I just need, see, proportion table, I just need one thing, which is discount percentage for the promotions applied, right? So I have a promotion key. I can simply, so that means the fact table, which is reseller sales table, is connected to what? Linked to this table already. If you see, this table is also linked to reseller sales table. The reseller sales table is also linked to this table. I just need one column, which is discount percentage. So I can, if that is required, right? If that is required, I can just expand and get it. Okay. So I don't need this table also. Then name sales territory. Okay. This is one table which we haven't looked. So this is telling me what? This is connected to reseller sales. That is, this is telling me what, in which region, how much sales is happening. Would Div Geography was telling me the location of the resellers and customers. This is telling me in which region, how much sales is happening. So I need this table, right? Now you are saying a reseller hai, so we can basically expand this. So I need basically, so we can expand this. Yeah, that can be done, right? Ideally, if you think I can expand all the tables in the reseller table, yes, but no, not, it won't be complex. Problem is कि data का जो size है. If you remember SQL में we discussed कि traditionally data एक table में कैसे store होता था. वो same problem यहाँ पे face होगी. Data का size बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा and query को execute करने में it will take time. Because if everything is in a single table, that is working as a joint concept. See, joint और relationship are two different concepts. Relationship में क्या है कि it is just linking the tables. ठीक है, joints में क्या हो रहा है? वो joint होने के बाद basically it is taking up that space. Okay. Yeah. So I need this table. I need this entire table as such because I need each and just not this column. Otherwise, all the columns I need. Okay. So I will say temp sales territory. So this is how I'm going to configure from different data sources how I'm going to connect my tables and which all tables are required and which all columns are required for the analysis for creating the dashboard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 tables are required, and I will click on see. If I click on load or transform data में क्या होगा यहाँ पे? Transform data में क्या होगा? Query editor and load में. So nothing wrong about these two options. या तो आप query editor में ले जाओ या सीधा Power BI में. But what I will do is I will take this into the Power BI. I'll tell you the reason for that. Okay. Yeah, that. So I have loaded the data into the Power BI. Now in the data section, you are able to see all the table names. If you expand this, you'll be able to see the column names. So this calendar is what? Date. Submission is a continuous column. And without submission, those are text columns. Okay. Okay. Now, see, I told you Power BI is getting the relationship either on the component names or the schema information it is taking up. So if you'll see over here, it has automatically defined the relationship between the tables. But you always need to cross verify this. Okay. We will build this from the scratch. So what I will do is I will delete these. Let me delete these relationships. So I will go to manage relationships over here in the model view tab and just select. What kind of relationship is it? One to many, many to one. So close. अच्छा close क्यों कर दिया? Problem is that this delete used to come over here late in the previous version. It has been updated. So it is frequently updated on monthly basis. So they have shifted the button to on the upper side. Then now there are no relationship defined. I will say close. Okay. This is my model view tab where I'm going to build the relationship, define the relationship. So once I have got, this is the data view tab where you'll be able to see your data. So if I say the employee data, you are able to see it over here. Okay. Now whatever filtering you perform over here, that will not affect your visuals in the report view. Okay. But whatever filtering you perform in the Power Query, that will affect your visuals. So first thing that I will do is, let's say I have done this step. So now not to basically, let's say, now not to do these things from the scratch, I will save this file. Okay. First thing I will do is I will save this file. So save as, browse. Which class is it? 16th. Save. Okay. Why I have done this? Because what happens, let's say you are performing any data cleaning step, and sometimes what happens, your Power BI just hangs up or shuts down. So you have to do each and every steps from the scratch. So what I will do is, after I configure each of my tables, let's say employee table is configured, I will save my file. Then if the second table is configured, I will save it, so that I don't have to do all these steps from the scratch. It is a very common thing in Power BI just to shut down or hang up. Okay. Okay. Now what we will do is we will perform data cleaning on these tables. Okay. So transform data. It will take you to Power Query. I told you what all steps you will apply. All those steps will be recorded over here, and we'll be creating a pipeline. So next time when the data gets updated, all these steps will be done automatically. You don't have to clean your data again and again. Okay.
So एक table को करेंगे बच्चे सारे table को जाएंगे.
This recorded steps will be the table, and the tables are referred to as queries over here. So there are 6 tables, that means 6 queries. Okay. Okay. Now, so we have an option of over here merge queries and append queries also. If you want to append few tables, you can use append queries. Okay. Let's say what you want to do is, let me just show you. If you want to append, you have two options: append queries and append queries as new. If you say append queries by selecting this particular table, let's say product, and there are multiple product tables. So you can say, so to this particular table, all the other tables will be appended. Okay. But if you say append query as new, so a new table will be created in which all the tables will be appended. Same is the case with merge queries. When you want to join any two tables, you will use merge queries. If you want to perform the joining within the same table, then merge query. If you want to create a new table, then merge query as new. Let me show you merge queries as new. And let me take a product table and the reseller table. So I can say reseller table, second table will be my employee table, not employee, let's say product. Okay. Now I will say product key, select it over here, then product key. And what type of join you want to perform? Left, right, full, inner, left empty, right empty. So rows only in first. Okay. So all these joins you have options. So let's say I want to perform left join because I want to have only those products which are sold. Okay. And okay. Fuzzy, I'll show you that. So see, a new table is created, merge one karke, which is merged. And having having what? So it has all these tables, but this table is also over here. So now you can expand this table and select whatever columns you need. So it is merged. Okay. I don't require this table as such. So I will just right click, delete. Similarly, you can append. But I won't be doing it because it will just, if not required, I won't be doing it because it will just increase my size of the file. So if I click on, okay, so this option I'm having, then these are just like Excel ribbons you are having over here. If you want to import the data in Power Query Editor also directly, you have a new source option, and these are different sources available. You can check and export the data from different sources. Okay. Then these are the transformation options I'm having. let's say if I have a date column or some other column, let's say date column, so all these options I'm having. If I have a time column, all these options I'm having. I can even run an R script or a Python script. If I want to split column, then how I want to split that column, those all options I'm having. If I want to extract something, so text before delimiter, text after delimiter, you can mention the delimiter and that will be automatically done. So most of the tasks can be easily done with just click of buttons. Okay, you just have to explore the ribbons part over here. Okay, you can change the data type from here. Okay, this is one way. The other way to change the data type is you can simply click over here on the left hand side of the column and you can simply change the data type. Okay, if you expand this, let's say I have some product table, I have some uh, categorical column. Let's say let's say first name, right? So you have all those text filters over here, whichever you have studied in Excel. All those text filters are there. For the numeric, you have the same number filters. Okay, whatever you have studied in Excel, all these similar functionalities we are having in the Power BI. Okay. Then statistics part, if you want to understand, calculate some mean, median, max, all these options are available over here. Okay. What else then? If you want to add a column, for example, if you remember flash fill in Excel, that's column from example in Power BI. Okay. And this custom column based on formula, if you want to create a column using M function, you will be using the custom column. Okay. And then, okay, these are conditional column based conditions. So all these options we are having, which you can perform. So view over here, if you want to perform data inspection, that is you want to understand the anomalies in the columns, you'll be using this option, column distribution, column profile, column quality. Okay. If you want to directly jump to a particular column, you can use this option, go to column. Okay. If you want to see what is the M code written for the, see, whatever task you're performing, uska jo code hai, which is M language, that is written in the backend. Okay. So abhi kya hai yahan pe? We are getting the data. We are getting the data from the source and importing it into Power BI. Right? So iska code already written hai for the employee table. How you can see that? You can directly see it in the advanced editor. If I click on this, so this is the M code written over here. So from the SQL database, this is my server name, this is my database name. I am having what is the schema, database object, what is the name of the table, employee table, and from the source, and I'm storing that in a employee table. So this is the code in the backend. This will keep on expanding as I basically add more and more steps. Okay. So this is what the recording is happening in the backend. All the steps are recorded for each of the queries. So now one thing to make sure, so in query editor or Power Query, we use M functions. Okay, M language or M functions. Again, you don't have to learn these functions, you just have to understand it. Okay, because there are around 900 plus M functions in the 900 plus M functions in the Power Query editor. So ये जो functions है, see Power Query is mainly for data processing और data cleaning, not for analysis. ठीक है, अगर आपको क्लीनिंग करनी है, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करना है, प्रोसेसिंग करनी है, तो आप टेक्स्ट क्वेरी, नॉट टेक्स्ट क्वेरी, आप पावर क्वेरी यूज करोगे. ठीक है, उसमें अगर आप कुछ कस्टमाइज्ड क्लीनिंग करनी है तो फॉर दैट यू कैन यूज एम फंक्शंस. ठीक है. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट डेटा एनालिसिस के लिए वी यूज डेक्स क्वेरी. वी राइट डेक्स इन द पावर बीआई, नॉट इन पावर क्वेरी. Just be very clear with this. M functions are not available in Power BI. DAX functions are not available in Power Query. Clear? एनालिसिस करेंगे तो DAX functions, और वो कहाँ पे यूज होगा? पावर बीआई में, जहाँ पे हम क्लीन डेटा इंपोर्ट करें, सेव करेंगे. ठीक है. एंड एम फंक्शंस कहाँ पे यूज होंगे? पावर क्वेरी में, जहाँ पे हम डेटा क्लीनिंग करेंगे. नॉट टेक्स्ट, डेक्स, डेटा एनालिसिस एक्सप्रेशंस. Okay, then. So this was an overview of the Power Query Editor. Yeah. Which one? No, I'm saying these are the options available. Like in Excel, you have a lot of options available. In Power BI, Power Query also, you have similar kind of functionalities available. Okay, you will see that once I will do it. Guys, clear with this part? What all functionalities we are having? Just overview of that. Okay, now you'll understand once I will take up the examples. Okay. So the first table which I want to configure is employee table. Okay. So first thing I will see what all columns I will require from this table. So I have to understand each and every column, right? So what do you understand each and every column? Then you go to choose column or remove columns. Any one option you can use. Okay. So if either I can select the table, select the column, multiple columns, right click, and I can say remove columns. So it will remove the selected columns. If I say remove other columns, it will remove the columns which are not selected. No, same control. Okay. So see, we have seen and see whatever we have seen in these ribbons, almost most of the functionalities we have available just on the right click. Okay. For example, add column from examples. If you want to remove duplicates, remove errors, replace values. If you want to change the data type, you can change it from here also. If you want to apply any transformation, that can be done from here also. These are some transformations. These are some text transformations. If you want to merge columns, if you want to merge these two columns, you can merge it. So you have take the sum of it, sum product group by. We will see what unpayment is. But yeah, a lot of the functionalities that we have seen in the ribbons are just all the right click of buttons. ठीक है? ये सारी functionalities हमने यहाँ पे check करी थी, available है, यहाँ पे भी available है. Multiple ways. I can change the data type either from here, change type from here. I can change the data type either from here, or I can change the data types from the ribbon as well. So I can detect data type, or what's the data type? I can change it from here also. So multiple ways to achieve the same thing. Okay. So internet has started or not? Just check once. Okay. So now tell me, see, employee table hai. What all I will require from the employee table? So I simply say name employee and home tab. I will say choose columns. Okay. I don't want to select any columns. So I'll say choose columns. See, यहाँ पे दो example, दो options है. One is choose column. Second is go to column. Particular table, you won't keep scrolling. It is hard to find that column, but you know the name of the column. Simply go to column and you can scroll it from here. Simply, let's say I want to understand the current flag and I will click on OK. It will take me to that column of this table directly. Okay. I want to jump back. I can simply select go to column, employee key. Clear? Now tell me which all columns I should choose. So it is very important that you understand the data first. Okay. So I am doing the reseller sales analysis. Okay. So which employees I will need? Sales employees only. Will I need any finance employees or marketing employees? No. Only sales employees. So obviously I need what? Employee key. I need employee national ID alternate key. Why I need this one? So these are the naming convention. Let's say why I need these ones, I'll tell you. I need employee key and employee national ID alternate key. Okay, so if I check the fact table, where's my fact table? यहाँ पे employee key is what 285 something like that. What are the values it is having? These are the values. ठीक है. Yeah, it may be incomplete. It is giving you based on top. It does not give you all the list, so you have to load more. Max number of lists it will give you list. It will give you over here is 1000 values, unique values. Okay. So employee key. Let me check whether that particular column has the same values or not. Okay. So it is employee table. Employee key. Yeah. So this is employee ID. Already. Okay. So this is the thing. This is same as what you can do is this is employee key. That is for defining the relationship. This is employee ID. Okay. So see, in the first go, you will never be able to do a perfect analysis. It's an iterative process. Okay. Let's say you are building the KPIs, then you realize I need this particular column also will come back and add that step in between over here. Okay. Let's say you're building some chart visual, you require I need to perform this cleaning step first. Okay. So you'll go back and perform that cleaning step. Like if you have missed it.
तो navigation वाले में steps record हो रहे हैं और just in case वही जो आप बोल रहे हो कि KPI में जो ना बाद में जरूरत पड़ी है तो वो वाला step तो सबसे last में record होगा तो
you can insert a step in between but only condition is that your step that you have inserted in between should not break the next step or other subsequent steps. Otherwise आपकी pipeline जो है वो break हो जाएगी. Yeah. For example, यहाँ पे कोई column आपने delete कर दिया है जिसके ऊपर बाद में आपने analysis किया हुआ. So that will break the pipeline. Undo in the sense, yeah, you can simply click on this cross. ठीक है? So is everyone clear till this point? यहाँ तक ठीक है. So I will choose the relevant columns. So you need to understand each and every column. Now you understand why it is time consuming. If I start doing this project from the scratch, it will take me around, let's say, 3 weeks just to understand the data, right? Understand the columns, because ideally it is what is 80% of the time you are just uh, basically spending on data processing or understanding the data. Then only you will be able to come up with correct numbers if your analysis is correct. Because building dashboard is just a 15-20 minutes task, like a basic dashboard. In Excel, it took around like 1 hour to half an hour to 1 hour to build a very basic dashboard. If you want to build a basic dashboard in PowerBI, max 10 to 15 minutes. Just drag and drop, and your dashboard is ready. Right? What used to happen in Excel is we used to make the dashboard dynamic. We used to connect slicer to the charts. Power BI itself is dynamic. अगर आपने विजुअल भी क्रिएट किया है एंड यूर सेलेक्टिंग अ पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी, लेट्स से यहाँ पे फर्नीचर है, यहाँ पे एक्सेसरी, यहाँ पे फर्नीचर सेलेक्ट किया और कोई आपने यहाँ पे दूसरा चार्ट क्रिएट किया है, तो दैट चार्ट विल बी फिल्टर्ड एज पर द so by default interactive, already established, dynamic, already dynamic. You don't need to do anything. So that's how easy it is, how friendly it is when it comes to a non-tech guy. Just drag and drop. Okay. Okay. If I talk about which all columns I should keep employee key. I'm keeping it. I will remove it later if I don't use it. So employee dash ID alternate key as employee ID, first name, last name, middle name. What else? Title, maybe let's say designation, email and phone number, gender. What will I do with the gender part? Yeah. So that there is a column. See, you need to understand each and every column. Okay, I'm picking these columns. There is a column which is current flag. I'm picking it up. I don't know what it is. But पहला step क्या करोगे? पहले तो आप डेटा को अंडरस्टैंड करोगे, ठीक है? But we can't go through each and every column for now. But I'm just picking up, ठीक है? Sales person flag I also pick up. Department name की जरूरत है. Sales ही ले रहे हैं. Let me just pick it up also. I'll remove it later. ठीक है? Position. Let's see. Let me pick it up. And I don't need any of the dimension or fact table because this is a employee table and I just need demographics. So I'll click on OK for now. See, this step is written over here. And these are the columns which are filtered. Position is done. Okay, we'll check that. Now if I go to advanced editor over here. Now see, what is my last step? Removed other columns. Table dot ये क्या है? ये M codes है. This is M language. It is saying उसके बाद what was the next step? Table dot selected. Basically I did select columns. So from the table, and these are the columns which I selected. And I have stored that output over here. Yes. Okay. Now, if I try to understand my data, here I have understood I have understood what? The columns. Okay, now let's see. Current flag is what? It is just having true values. So of no sense to me. I'll remove this. Okay, so choose column, same step. Same step. And I will just remove it. I don't need current flag. Okay. Position. Sales director, sales manager, sales representative. Null भी बहुत ज़्यादा है तो position define. Will it make any sense if it is a sales director or representative? No. Ideally, it is the employee which is performing the sales. Number से फर्क पड़ता है ना. So I don't need the position over here also. So I'll remove it.
Sir, अगर वो remove column वाले section को select करके अगर column remove करेंगे तो वो एक नया step create कर देगा.
नहीं, इसी पे last step पे वो कर देगा ना, वो already show करेगा आपको choose column में कौन से selected है. अगर मैं कोई और स्टेप यहाँ पे परफॉर्म करता हूँ उसके बाद रिमूव कॉलम करता हूँ तो एक एक्सटर्नल स्टेप ऐड हो जाता है. सो आई विल रिमूव व्हाट दिस पोजीशन और डिपार्टमेंट नेम.
सेकंड पर्सन
Okay.
डिपार्टमेंट नेम रखना पड़ेगा, तो उसके अंदर आप फिल्टर लगा सकते हो सेल्स में.
Okay, let me see what all department names I'm having. Sales. Okay.
फिल्टर लगा सकते
This is one thing I can do. This is one thing. Let me see how many employees it is giving me. Sales. Done. So 18, right? So this is one way I can get the sales employees. Okay. What's the other way? Select all. Done. Salesperson flag. I already have a column which is telling me whether that is a salesperson or not. So if it is false, that person is from the other department but not sales. So I can simply say just true. This is the second way. Like if you have both the columns present, so I'm getting the same number of columns over here, right? So again, choose columns. Now it will add another extra step. So I don't need department name, salesperson flag. Also, I don't need because I have filtered the row.
हैं फिल्टरिंग करने का. अच्छा, ये नया
Now I can remove this column. अगर मैं ये column पहले remove कर देता हूँ तो बाद में filtering possible है नहीं. But अगर पहले ही filtering कर लेता हूँ, that is much better. So what I can do is I can change the step from here to here. Okay, and yeah. So I will try to have my steps as few as possible. Well, basically, if I'm removing a column, that should be done in a single step as far as it is possible. So I will say remove other columns, choose columns. I don't need this. And good to go. So इसी में रिकॉर्ड हो गया और फिल्टर हो गया. तो मैंने क्या किया? If I understood the data, what I did first is पहले मैंने फिल्टरिंग कर ली सेल्स डिपार्टमेंट की. उसके बाद मैं सारे कॉलम्स को एक साथ रिमूव कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है? Okay. So is this good to go? So let me rename this. I can double click or right click. Either I can double click or right click and rename. Okay. So I will give this rename as salesperson. The table name as per my convenience. This is employee key. This is employee ID. This is first name, last name, middle name.
सर ये आप पावर क्वेरी में करो, तो अगर आप इसमें अगर नाम चेंज करो तो वो मेन पावर क्वेरी में चेंज करो.
Yes. I am giving this email address as UPN. Some naming conventions the organization may follow. So let's say UPN and phone number. Okay. Title is there. Okay. Now, do I need first name, last name, middle name as 3 columns? अब तो मैं एनालिसिस कर रहा हूँ ना, डेटा थोड़ा स्टोर कर रहा हूँ. So I will first select first name, then I will select middle name, then I will select last name, right click, and I will say what? Merge columns. When I do that, how will do separator क्या होना चाहिए? Space. Let's say column name is full name. So यहाँ पे स्टेप रिकॉर्ड हो गया कि पहले रीनेम कॉलम किया, उसके बाद मर्ज कॉलम किया. So अभी जब मैंने मर्ज किया कॉलम को, तो इट गॉट मर्ज्ड विद इन दोस एग्जिस्टिंग कॉलम्स ओनली. वो तीनों कॉलम रिमूव हो गए और एक कॉलम में मर्ज हो गए. दैट इज वन वे. इफ आई वांट टू अनडू दिस स्टेप, जस्ट क्रॉस. दैट इज वन वे हाउ यू कैन मर्ज कॉलम. Second way is you have selected these, right? Go to add column and you can say column from example from selection. Now I am giving the column name as full name and I will give the example to this. So Stephen, then Y, and then GR. See, it has taken the example. Now if you see over here, the M code is written for it, text.combine. यहाँ पे candidate की function है, यहाँ पे कौन सा function है? Combine function है. I will click on OK. See, inserted merged column. सही है? Now I can drop these columns. First name, last name, and middle name. Okay, that's one way. So now what I can do, let's say if I want to understand the formula, so I will go to advanced editor, जहाँ पे कोड रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है मेरा. So I will say advanced editor in the home tab. यहाँ पे function क्या है? text.combine, right? I can copy this. Copy हो गया, done. Now I will say, let me delete. Okay, let it be. I am saying add column. कौन सा column? Custom column. Custom column it uses M functions. So I am saying कि full name. Let's say name of the column is or employee underscore name. ठीक है? Equals to copy paste. So if you see, I told you that 900 plus text, 900 plus M functions. So if you do text dot text, if you just write text, you will be able to see all the functions which are related to text. ठीक है? If you write date, you will be able to see all the functions related to date. If you write number, you will be able to see all the functions related to number. ठीक है? So that's why I told you need to understand it. You don't have to learn it. So I can create a custom column. Okay. That's the third way how you can add a custom column. Clear? So let me remove this inserted merged column. Delete. So this is a custom column. And I need to remove this column now. First name, last name, middle name. So try to keep your pipeline as precise as possible. Okay, there are not multiple steps for the same task. Okay. I could have done this thing beforehand also. Okay. So that is much better way. But since I'm explaining you this project, so I'm just doing it like this. आप इसको जितना मिनिमाइज कर सकते हो सारे स्टेप्स सारे जो सेम स्टेप्स है वो एक ही सेम टास्क को एक ही स्टेप में परफॉर्म कर लो ओके डन सो दिस इज yeah so I have configured my employee table. I will say close and apply to save to basically load these changes into the Power BI और यहाँ पे सेव हो जाएगा ठीक है तो अभी क्या होगा इस चेंजेस पावर क्वेरी में सेव हो गए और जो सेव चेंजेस है वो पावर बीआई में लोड हो रहे हैं if you check over here it is renamed to salesperson and if I expand this you will be able to see only relevant columns with the changed name now what I will do is I will save my Power BI file तो changes तो वहां पे सेव हुए ना Power BI file तो सेव नहीं होगी so I will say control S that so till this point I have configured one table and I have saved my Power BI file. So any doubt in configuration of this particular table? Guys? So I told you it requires a lot of research. First of all, to understand the data is very important and to understand the business objective and what all analysis you are going to perform. So accordingly, you will be getting the data and the columns. I am also, if you remember in the salesperson, I have kept employee. Where is the employee key? I need the employee key, no? To define the relationship. So if employee key is not there. I think I have I have employee ID, renamed columns. So here it is, employee ID, employee key, added custom, then removed columns. So I think here by default I removed that also. No? Yeah, it was selected. So I just need to remove these. So be very careful with this. Okay, done. Now see if what will I do if I keep this step in the upper place of the above the added custom, what will happen? My pipeline will break because my custom column is derived from these columns only. First name, middle name, and last name. So you have to be very careful with these things. अगर आप बीच में कोई step insert कर रहे हो, say right click and I'm saying कि insert step after this step, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे ये मेरे को warning दे रहा है. It is saying कि are you sure you want to insert a step because inserting an intermediate step may affect subsequent steps, which could cause your query to break. ठीक है? So be very careful while you are inserting a step in between. That should not be affected. Basically, your next query should not be affected. So, for example, so like whatever you need to make sure, whatever task you performed over here, those columns cannot be removed beforehand. If they are removed beforehand, then there won't be any calculation performed, right? That is it. So now, what all I have done, you have to document each and everything. Let me show you this once. So from importing the data, everyone has seen this documentation, right? Which all tables I imported, why I have imported those tables, what all kind of data these tables contain, and अभी हमने ये वाला part किया नहीं है. So even before, so we will perform this on the customer table also, basically sales table also. ये भी किया नहीं हमने ये वाला part, which is what? Data inspection, checking the quality of the data. Okay? And if I show the second part, which is what transformation data cleaning. So all we have done is what all steps we have performed. Say someone may be searching table with the name employee. So we have to tell him that like with whoever you are sharing the file or you're going for the suggestions with your manager or the client. Usually, so you will say कि sales, this table has been renamed to salesperson. Okay? Then what all steps you have performed? Have you identified the salesperson? You filtered the salesperson flag or you basically filtered from the department table, the sales department. Okay? then what all columns you selected, then have you renamed the tables, and what all columns you have renamed. Because I might be searching for email address and you have renamed it to UPN. Correct? So each and every step is very important, because let's say if you come back to this project after 3 to 4 months, you won't remember what you have done. But if you have detailed documentation of each and everything that you have performed, you will be easily able to figure out the problem with the project. Right? Because data gets updated, ultimately you need to do minor tweakings. Clear everyone till this point? Yeah. Click on OK. So if you are inserting something which is not affecting the other steps, then it won't break. It is just giving you a warning. Okay. Okay. So guys, any queries till this point? Yeah. Okay. So let's overthink. It's 11:02. Let's have a break, and everyone be back by 11:23. Okay. Okay. So we have configured one table, which is sales employee table, salesperson, right? Now, if you want to do data quality checks, for that in the view tab, you have these options: column distribution, profile, and column quality. So if you click on column distribution, you are able to see the distribution of the basically like how many distinct values are there and how many unique values are there, right? So the concept of unique and distinct is different with respective to Power BI. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what. So distinct, and then we have unique. Okay. Now, let's say I have this column which has the values as A, B, C, D, E, right? Okay. This is a column which I'm having these categories, let's say. Now, if I say distinct, what is the definition of distinct? Is that the value occurring once or more is a distinct, right? So which all values are distinct values over here? Which all values are distinct values? Give me the names. A, B, C, D, E, right? So how many distinct values are there? 5. Okay. Unique. So this concept in SQL, unique, distinct, Python, unique, distinct means same thing. But this concept is only specifically to Power BI, specific to Power BI. That distinct and unique are different. So this unique is basically the value occurring only once. Which values are occurring only once? B and D. So how many unique values are there? 2. Clear with this? The difference between distinct and unique? Okay. So this is what it is telling me. So if distinct is equals to unique, what does it mean? I can consider this as a primary key column. All the values are unique. If distinct is equals to unique, that means all the values are unique, right? So I can see there are only 4 categories in the title because unique is 4. Okay. So it can also help me to identify which column is having the constant values. So right now I won't be able to see that because I have done my filtering. But these are some of the data quality checks which you can perform before selecting the columns to understand the column data or distribution of the data, and after selecting the columns. Okay. Just to have a data quality checks. Okay. Which one? Yeah, I'll show you that. But this is what it is, right? Distinct and unique it will give me. So if I say instead of column distribution, if I say column profile, and I select one of the column as, let's say, if I go to reseller table, and in the reseller table, if I select, let's say, product line, it is giving me the descriptive statistics. What it is giving me? So it is giving me what is the count, what is the error, how many empty blanks, how many blanks, how many distinct values, how many unique values, how many empty strings, min and max doesn't make sense over here. Right? And it is giving me the count of each of the categories. Now, let me just aware you that this view, one second, this, yeah, min max just in sorting, and it is just sorting and giving you the min max value for the categorical, which does not make any sense. Okay. In the view, the column distribution, these profile or quality works on top 1000 rows. It is giving you the idea about the data based on top 1000 rows. Clear? It is just giving you an idea about the data. Okay. Error ka matlab, I'll tell you what error is. I'll tell you that. Let it be. So like if I click any continuous, say for the categorical variable, it makes sense. Right? If I click on continuous variable, let's say reseller sales I'm talking about, and I'm taking some unit price, let's say. So the descriptive statistics make sense in case of a continuous column or a numeric column. Also, after you have the data inspection, you should uncheck these because this will make your PowerBI very slow. Okay, because you are getting this generated for each and every column. So see, based on 1000 rows, so how many distinct values are there? 23, unique is 6, nan is there no zero value present, what main value is 4.75, max is 2146, and you can find out the average also and standard deviation also. You can also find out the range, which is max minus min. So these are just giving you the idea about the values range, right? And it is giving you the count of each of the values for the continuous. Okay? So if I say total product cost, it will tell you that there are 76 nulls, blanks. Okay? So this is just for data quality checks. You can have this. So I have done this on the salesperson, and yeah, so good to go. Just let me close and apply this, and then I will configure the next table. Huh? Yeah, I'll do that once I come back. Let me just. Okay, so I have configured one table which is salesperson, and I will just save it. So now I have the employee ID, employee keyboard. Okay, let me save it, and now I will configure another table which is name employee sales territory. So transform data. Name employee sales territory. Let me keep it. Based on employee. So if you see, this table is having only two columns, and it is mapped to employee table and sales territory table. I have imported this table also and this table also. So I don't need these as such. Okay. So what I will do is I will delete these columns. Remove columns. Now these will be acting as a mapping table between the employee table and the sales territory table. Right? So I'll just close and apply. Done. This table is configured. Nothing more to do with this. You can always check if blanks are there. You can remove the blanks. Yeah, you have to filter it. So if you the data inspection view tab, these are giving you the idea based on top 1000 rows, right? But if you want to see all the categories, let's say, so PowerBI will be able to show you till 1000 categories. If you want to see above that, right? So what you can do is basically you can filter out for certain categories and then see the rest of the categories. So let me show you. Yeah, what was the question again? Okay. So if you want to filter null, drop down, just uncheck the null and okay. Have I done filtering anywhere? So this is employee. This is yeah. Okay, good to go. I have configured two tables, which is this is let's say employee sales territory. Okay, so I can keep it like this. Then I have the another table, which is dim sales territory. So obviously alternate key, region, group, done. Nothing else. And I will click on OK. Yeah. So I can say region. I mean, let's say I can give any specific name to this table. So I'm keeping it as a sales territory or reseller sales. We have the reseller sales already, fact table. So I can say region probably just to identify this. Okay? Sales territory, or I can say sales region. That's the name of the table I can give. Done. Now, let me rename the columns. Say it is sales territory key, sales territory alternate key, which are same. Then we have sales region. Is there the data is incorrect over here, right? It's just some corporate category which is filled over here. There is no territory key also defined for this. So I don't need this record. So what should I do? I have an option over here. Keep rows and remove rows. I want to remove rows. What top, bottom, remove alternate rows, remove duplicate, remove blank rows, remove errors. What do you want to remove? So you can remove that from here. Okay. I want to remove bottom rows. Is the correct step. So what should I do? Why is it not a correct step? First of all,
pipeline break.
pipeline का break हो रही है? Last step में record हो रहा है ना? How my pipeline is breaking over here? No. What is wrong with this step? Huh? Only that corporate HQ data. In this question, एक step में तो एक साथ में हो गई. You can remove rows or column one at a time. Correct. That is the point. If this record exists somewhere when the data gets updated somewhere in between, then I will losing out the data of the last record, which won't be any corporate HQ data. Correct. So this is not a correct approach in this case to go with. So I will say undo this, and better approach is that say I will filter for the corporate HQ. I am saying just don't filter. Basically don't show. Filter the data having all the regions except corporate HQ. That. Now it doesn't matter where your corporate HQ is, either in the first row, middle row, or last. It will filter it, right? So this is the correct step. You have to think it while updating your data. While your data gets refreshed, is this step going to be correct? Done. So now there's no such region which exists. We already have the regions which are there in the table, right? There's no point of adding any region which does not exist. So corporate HQ is no such region. Now what I will do is I will just rename this as region, and I will rename this as country. So it is giving me, while I'm selecting it, it is giving me the value distribution of each of these. So I can rename this as group. So now these are the steps which are recorded, which will be in automation. Whenever the data gets updated, all these steps will be performed automatically. Okay. Configured my table. Now I can simply close and apply, done, and save the file. Close and apply will save the changes, load the saved changes into the PowerBI, and you can then after that save your file. So sales region, salesperson, and employee sales editor. We have configured 3 tables. Let me save the file. Now let's configure the reseller table. Okay. I am keeping the keys so that I can create a relationship between the tables. If I talk about the reseller table, which is reseller sales, I need the reseller key. Okay. Alternate key, which is reseller ID. Phone number, business type, yes. Reseller name, obvious. Basically, I just need reseller related data. And what else I will need? I have this table already. The fact table. Reseller ka, I just need geographical details of the resellers. Correct?
सर अगर हम ज्योग्राफी की रखते हैं तो फिर उसकी डिमेंशनल टेबल जरूरत पड़ेगी?
नहीं, I can just expand it and get it.
हाँ तो मतलब अगर इसको हटा दें तब भी दिक्कत थोड़ी.
Then how? No, you
ज्योग्राफी की पहले ही ना
from there you can't get it. That's a different table. That's a sales geography. That's a sales geography. It is a geography of the resellers. These are two different things. So I will go to choose columns, and which all columns are required. So let's say I will keep reseller key, alternate key, business type, name, and this. So it is an entire table, which is a geographical table, and done. Not needed fact data reseller sales because I'm already considering that table. So now I can expand the geographical table and get the relevant location. So we so yeah, so we have the amount already present in the fact table. So we'll be considering that. Okay. So city, I don't need code, right? I need the name. Then I need the English, not Spanish or French. Right? So I need just this particular. See, what may happen is, if you remember, there may be a particular product. Let's say some car which is known as Endeavor, everyone knows. That is sold with the name Endeavor in India. But outside India, it is sold with the name Everest. So a same product may have different names in different countries. The product is same, but with different names. I'm doing the analysis only for the English. Okay, not for the Spanish or the French. So you don't require these columns. Then I need postal code. How I am getting this reseller, how I'm getting the locations, because I will be able to visualize this data on the map. Since it's a real data, PowerBI will be able to fetch the basically longitude and latitude and will display it on the map. Okay, postal code and yeah, that's it. I just need 4 columns. I don't need the entire table. So I'll say, okay, I don't want to use the original column name as prefix. So just uncheck it and click on OK. So you can see now city, state, province name, English country, region name, postal code. All these are what? Expanded. Reseller key. This is reseller ID, business type, reseller name, city. So I can simply now name it as state province instead of state province name. State province, and it is country region. Country region. I am just renaming the variables. Whatever I'm doing, all those steps are recorded. Okay, done. Now let's do some data. See, either you can do the data inspection at the start, but that will be very time consuming because you will have a lot of variables, right? You haven't filtered out the columns. Once you filter out the columns and then you do data checks, so it becomes very easy for you and very time saving also. Okay, so now I can simply, I've already applied this in the view tab, column profile. So if I click on business type, what is the problem with this? How many categories are there? Is it correct? Ideally, how many categories should be there? 5. यहाँ पे है तो value added reseller category. This is correct now? So by mistake, typing mistake, it has taken as what? Someone has done the typing mistake while entering the data. So it has, instead of 3 categories, there are 4 categories. Ideally, there should be how many categories? 3. Okay. So should I convert this into this or the other one? Because see, these are already high numbers. I will be replacing this with where without space, warehouse without space. Okay. So ideally there should be how many categories? 3. So this is what data quality checks are. You need to clean your data, process your data, transform your data. So you should inspect each and every column once you've selected the columns. So I have that option over here. I had a replace option, business type, right click. I will say replace values. I'm not replacing the errors. Values. What is the value? Where? So where space house with replace with what? Where if I do capital H, it will create another category again. So where space without space house, and I will say okay. That now how many categories are there? Good to go. Okay, so like this, we'll be basically checking out the data. These are what data quality checks you need to take care of. Right. So there may be some spelling mistake by which another category may have been created. All these are data cleaning, data processing steps. Okay. Now this reseller table is good to go. Okay. So I will basically close and apply. Save the changes in Power Query and load the saved changes in Power BI, and then I will save the file. Okay, I have not renamed the table, so I will just rename it as from dim reseller to reseller only. Okay. So I'll do that, and then I'll jump on to the next table, which is a product table. Yeah, I'll tell you the reason. See, it depends on the business objective, which tables you're picking up. So you may pick up multiple fact tables. Dimension tables, there will be always multiple dimension tables. There's no doubt about that. But whether you're picking multiple fact tables or a single fact table, that depends on the business requirement. And accordingly, the schemas are defined. Okay? So we will see that. So reseller ko I just rename it to resellers. And now I need to configure the product table. So let me just rename it to first product. So what else? What I need for product table? Product related data. So I will need product key. I don't need product. I'm not taking product ID. Let's say if I have the product name, I don't need to take the product ID. I don't have the product name. English product name. I have. Then Spanish, French. These are blank because let's say these products may not be sold on those in those countries. Okay. Standard cost, finished goods flag, colors. These all are the columns I'm having. Okay. Okay. Now, which all? So if you see this finished goods flag, what does it mean? What do you mean by finished good flags? Whether that product is launched or whether it's a prototype. So अगर वो prototype है और market में launch नहीं हुआ है, तो that means का उसका तो cost price set नहीं है ना. There is no standard cost for that particular product. Cost price. So that is why it is null. So which products I want? I just want only those products. So once you've understood the columns, let's first you just choose those columns. And so I need a product key, product subcategory I don't require. Let's make content key, which is product ID, English product name, standard cost, finished good flags. I am taking the color also. I'll tell you the reason for this is that I am going to get the data from other data sources also, and then I will be using this to map those tables. Okay, so I'm just picking it up for now. Then not list price. List price. Let me pick list price, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm not taking the list price. Okay. Then
the list price of standard cost.
We will see that. Then status, let's say, and product subcategory table. And I'll click on OK because I need to get product subcategory name, right? And product subcategory table is linked to product category table from which I will get the product category name. Done. Okay. So if I look at it, status is current and null. So if I remove null, what will I get? Let's check. Okay, just to understand. Okay. So filtered null. I'm still not able to see the standard cost. So current product might be we still have the product. So this is also still including the prototypes. Still including the prototypes. Current basically prototype plus currently launched. Products we just linked to the market. So I don't need this as such. So यहाँ पे filtered rows क्या ना हटा दो. I will just remove this from the choose column only. Let's say list price. So what all values I'm having the list price? Now, if I check, let's say if I Google and check what is the list price versus standard cost. Okay. So you will understand why we should not take list price. So it may vary. What is the list price? See, cost price is fixed for every product. List price will vary depending on the reseller it is reaching up to. Retail price. So let's say someone has a shop in Gujarat. He will pick up some other price to sell the product because charges may be high for delivering that product in that particular state. So list price is that. So I would be using that for the product table. That is why I'm taking up the. I am taking up which one? Cost standard cost. So choose columns. And I don't want list price and I don't want status. And okay. So now I just need the products which are finished, right? Or launched. So now I have the standard cost. So let me filter first and then remove the columns. And I can now just remove the standard cost to finished good flags also. Choose columns and I can remove finished good flags as well. I don't need it. Done. Good to go? Yes. Clear everyone till this point? From here onwards, what I need is I need product subcategory name. I will expand this and I will get the product subcategory name English. I don't want to use original column name as prefix. Sorry, my bad. What is the mistake that I have done? What is the mistake that I have done? How will I get the product category name? Because product subcategory is the table which is a link to the product category table. If I have not selected product category table in the product subcategory link, I would get it. This again, I need to go back, undo, expand. I need what? Product subcategory name. Along with this, I need product category table. Done. So I have the product subcategory name. Along with it, I need product category also. Just name I want this time English product category name, not Spanish or French. And done. So with this, my product table is also configured. Using product key, I can connect. See, यहाँ पे वैसे fact table से ही better करता है कि how can I connect this to the fact table. ठीक है? अगर hierarchy present है, let's say if you require, if there is a as per the business requirement, if there are tables which is a hierarchical form, जैसे product category, product subcategory, और वो सारी tables का आपका data चाहिए. Like you will require a lot of columns from those tables. So then you will be importing those tables entirely. ठीक है? I'll tell you, it depends on the schema. What schema you're preferring, what schema you'll go with as per the business requirement. Okay, let me read it this. It is basically product. Since I'm doing it for the English, I can simply name it as product name, let's say, and product subcategory and product category. Okay.
सर आप पहले बोल रहे थे alternate key नहीं देंगे product key फिर आपने
This is product ideal. I've taken it. I can remove it in the later stage if not
आप
used.
बोल रहे थे कि product name में तो उसकी जरूरत
हाँ, जरूरत नहीं है. I can remove it in the later stage if not needed. I'm just keeping it for now.
नहीं पड़ेगी.
वैसे जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, but I'm just keeping it. I can remove it in the later stage. Right? Okay. So if I go to the view part, column profile, everyone understands the difference between column distribution, unique and distinct, then column profile, descriptive statistics, then we have column quality. It will tell you based on the top 1000 rows how many valid values are there, how much is the error percentage, and how many nulls are there or blanks, right? So what do you mean by error over here? So error is specifically related to data type. Okay? If I say this is the data type of what text, if I make it decimal, what will happen? 100% error. So let me undo this step. So what will happen? Let's say you have a column which is having numeric values, let's say 101, 102, or 23,000. And in between, by mistake, you have some text. So those texts will be counted as error. And among 1000 cells, top 1000 cells, how many cells or rows are having those such values? So that will take the percentage of that number of cells having the errors.
सर बट जस्ट इन केस 1000 के बाद अगर एरर शो हो रही है तो कोई पावर बाई डिटेक्ट कैसे करें?
It won't. It is just give me the idea about the column. So when you face such issue while creating KPIs, you will always come back and check. So what you can do is
वही क्वेश्चन तो मेरा वही है ना कि
top 1000 rows है ना. What you can do is you can say always load more. यहाँ पे option आता है ना. यहाँ पे you can check. It will give the unique values only. So it is possible to check. So if I check for this unit price, let's say standard cost, ठीक है? If I say standard cost, so it is not 1000.
700 and only तो इसको भी अपने 397
I have to do the data cleaning. So let's say reseller sales अपने पास, ठीक है? And what I'm doing is say order number है. So if I say load more, it will show me the others. ठीक है? Next. If I want limit of 1000 values reached, it won't show me anymore above that. If you want to see the, if you want to see after that, what you have to do is you have to unselect these and then say load more. मतलब first filter your data, then check it, and then basically remove the filtering. So if I show you that how in case of a continuous column, if I show you that, let's say sales amount or total product cost, it will make sense. So यहाँ पे you can see it is calculated for the total product cost, valid, error, and empty. Because the data is huge. That is why I told you you need to keep your dashboard as light as possible. Only relevant data should be there. See, 8% blanks, 92% valid. So if I want to know कि ठीक है load more and yeah, still 1000 value पर reach हो गया, I am saying just unselect null. I have done filtering. Done. Filtered the rows. If I want to see text, it will take some time. Yeah. So now if you say I filtered, empty 0% यहाँ पे. Now if I say load more, to say 1000 value का limit reach हो गया, ठीक है, let it be null. And what I'll say number filters. So there are some tricks you have to apply. कैसे get that? What's the last value? What's the last value here? 26770. I can say remove filter. Then I am saying number filters greater than is greater than in the select value 2770. ठीक है? 2770 let's say. ठीक है? So now it will show you the next from starting 2770 the next unique values. That's a value. That's not the like they were not 26,000 numbers. That's a value. So that was a 1000 value, 1000 unique value. If you want to see the values which are above 1000, which are coming after 1000 unique values, you can perform the filtering and always can say load more. So now it won't show you कि limit has reached because this is I'm saying after the 1000 part. कि 1000 unique values मैंने filter कर ली, उसके बाद में next unique देख रहा हूँ, next 1000 unique. So there are tips and tricks that you can follow to understand your columns. Next 1000 filtered है ना इस step में. What I can simply do now, just remove the filtering, then back to normal.
सर पावर बीआई में ये देख सकते हैं नंबर एक्चुअल रोज कितनी है वैसे
देख सकते हैं.
यहाँ पे से 998 प्लस रोज
Count कर लो ना. You can count always. So better है in that case you can go with text, but यहाँ पे you can count also. So you have an option over here. Let's say this is a total product cost, and somewhere over here you will have. Sorry,
ट्रांसपोर्ट रिवर्स डिस्काउंट
count rows. So it will give you 57,851 rows. But again, it's a single value it is giving you. I don't want that. Count column profile maybe ideally that is on the top 1000 rows. So it's not correct. Column within the view tab, whatever I'm using, this column distribution profile or column quality, that is based on top 1000 rows. Okay. So I'm removing this. This is nothing. Monospace is nothing. It is just a kind of formatting. See, just text formatting. Okay. So क्या हो गया था? 1000 यूनिक वैल्यूज की जो कट ऑफ था वो कट ऑफ फिल्टर करने के बाद उसके बाद जो वैल्यूज फिल्टर हुई है उसमें हमने फिर नेक्स्ट 1000 देखे यूनिक वैल्यूज. हाँ, टेबल इन द सेंस फिल्टर कैसे होती है, रो फिल्टर्स होती है ना, तो आइडली टेबल ही फिल्टर हो रही है, सबसेटिंग नहीं हो रही, सॉरी फिल्टरिंग हो रही है वहाँ पे. सबसेटिंग इज सेलेक्टिंग ओनली कॉलम्स. तो अब यहाँ पे जब सिर्फ कॉलम सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं चूज कॉलम्स, वो सबसेटिंग है. जब फिल्टर्स अप्लाई करें वो रो लेवल पे होता है। Okay? ठीक है। Now let's see what all columns I will require from the reseller table. So home tab, choose columns. I will require order number. I will require one second, order number, order date, product key, foreign key, right, to connect to the product table, reseller key to connect to the reseller table. Promotion key not required because I don't have that table. Employee key, sales territory key, order quantity, unit price, total product cost, sales amount. Pretty this much only, right? Other tables I don't need. And I will say okay. Clear at this point? Okay. Now can you tell me ki, what is this? What is order quantity to unit price? Cost price? What is order quantity to unit price? Okay, let's see that. Order quantity is 1. This is a unit price. This is null, but this is 2024.99. Let's say if I multiply this 2039 into 2, I will get approximately this. So is it cost price or selling price? Sales price, not cost price. कॉस्ट प्राइस के लिए क्या कंसीडर करेंगे? यूनिट प्राइस नहीं कंसीडर होगा, उसके लिए क्या कंसीडर करेंगे? स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट, जो कि किस टेबल पे है? प्रोडक्ट टेबल पे है। ठीक है। सो अब इफ आई सी कि देखो ये प्रोडक्ट सोल्ड आउट हुआ है, तभी तो सेलिंग प्राइस है ना यहाँ पे। तो दैट मींस कि देयर आर सम, देयर मे बी सम रीजन ड्यू टू व्हिच ये वाला जो वैल्यूज है दे शुड हैव बीन देयर बट दे आर प्रेजेंट। So that means I need to recalculate this column because all the values are not blank. Because this is a sales table. So I calculate that. I need to add a set column over here in the fact table from the product table. So if I check this, choose columns, this I understand that this product table, fact reseller sales table or sales table is connected to what? Other tables. So I just will get product table and I will click on OK. Once I do that, I will expand this and I will just get standard cost. Standard cost. Now I can multiply quantity into standard cost in order to achieve total product cost. जहां पे डल है वहां पे वैल्यू आ जाएगी, जहां पे वैल्यू प्रेजेंट है वहां पे सेम वैल्यू आ जाएगी। करेक्ट?
अगर प्रोडक्ट टेबल में हम स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट को अगर इंक्लूड कर लेते हैं, रिलेशन सेट कर लेते हैं, तब भी जरूरत पड़ती है?
नहीं, तब जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, बट दैट इज वे आफ्टर दिस। So how will you tackle the null values? That is the point. That will be very complex in analysis if you have null values. Your calculations might not work. That is the problem. So what I will do is I will calculate. So what's the add column, custom column, and I will say cost. I'm just giving the name as total cost. Okay, and it will be what? Order quantity into standard cost. ठीक है? And okay. So see, जहां जहां पे डल था वहां पे वैल्यू आ गई, एंड जहां पे वैल्यू प्रेजेंट थी वहां पे सेम वैल्यू आ गई. दिस इज जस्ट राउंडेड ऑफ, अदरवाइज द वैल्यू सेम. सी क्लियर? So that means I don't require this column. Remove, done. I have the total cost now. Okay, so that means ki I have all now performed the data quality checks, and I can see that I have configured my sales table. So I'll just will name it as sales. Clear? Any doubt in this table configuration? File, close it, apply, save the changes. Changes are done. Now I will save the file. Okay. I was provided with 2 other data sources also. Let me just get those into the Excel only. So let me check what was the format. So it's a CSV file. So I told you why I'm taking the color into the product table, because I want to know what are the color codes, font color code and background color code for the particular products. Okay. So for that information I can get from the color formats. And I also want to understand what are the sales targets of the employees. For that, I will require this table. So it's a CSV file. I will import it using CSV. So text CSV and color formats. So if you see, you are having no option over here of the direct query because it is not updated on real-time basis, right? I will just load it into the PowerBI, and then I will load another table which is sales targets of the employees. On the Excel CSV. See, this is how this table looks like. If you see, we have blanks, and let's say this year 2017. What type of table is it? Long table, wide table. Which type of table? Cross tab. Each category of the month is treated as a separate column. For each, let's say in year 2017, this particular employee, यहाँ पे blank क्यों है? Sales नहीं की, अब company में ही नहीं था. It is not possible if an employee is not doing any work and he is getting the salary for that. He joined the company on month 7 in 2017, right? There are few employees who joined late, or like they have switched from some other company into the sales department. तो उनका तो यहाँ पे blank ही रहेगा ना उस particular year के लिए. So it is showing me the sales targets of each employee in each year for each month. ठीक है? So I will load this data into the Power BI. Once done, let me save the file. Okay. Now I also need to configure these two tables. Data cleaning and processing transformation needs to be done for these two tables also. So transform data. Color formats. What is the issue with this table? So the color column is there. It is taking column 1, column 2, column 3. What is the issue with this table? So the headers should, first row should be the headers. ठीक है. So I will say यहाँ पे option is directly available. So use first row as headers or use headers as first row. Which one? First row as headers. Done. This table is configured. Okay, let me configure it. Okay, let me just close and apply because I don't want to take risk. It has happened with me in almost every batch. Like whenever I have not saved, my Power BI just got hacked. So transform data. Reseller sales target. So let me just name it as. Okay. Now, see, you are familiar with the data. If I filter hyphen from here, what will happen? Ultimately, if I take 0 also, then it will affect my calculation, the aggregation. Then if I take average, so ultimately those values will be counted. And they should not be counted because employee was not present at that particular time or at that particular month in that company. Right? अगर आप 0 से replace करोगे, तो क्या होगा? Your numbers won't be correct. जो भी आप aggregate number show करोगे, वो correct नहीं होंगे. Whether it is count or average or deviation, something like that. So if I uncheck it, filter for each and every month, so I'll be basically losing out on, let's say 60 to 80% of the data, which is not correct. So what I should do ideally? Well, I want to remove these. No? How can I remove these? How can I remove these? Okay. Can I transform this table? Can I transform this table? Ideally, what kind of table it is? Cross tab. Generally, I can say wide format, right? Can I convert this wide format or cross tab into long table format? If I convert this into long table format, how many columns I will have?
81.
Columns. Right now, I am having 14 columns. So how many columns I will have when I convert this into the long table? This will be one column and the values will be one column. So ideally, I have 4 columns and my number of rows will increase. How it will increase? अब if you see 2017 है, ठीक है, तो इस एम्प्लॉय की कितनी वैल्यूज है? 12, because for the 12 months. So अगर 12 month 1, so for 2017 for this particular employee, month 1 to 12 will be there. So these two values will be repeated these many times. And उसकी फिर वैल्यूज आएंगी हर एक मंथ की यहाँ पे. So let me just show you in Excel की how it is. ठीक है, just take an example of a, let's say, my table I have, let's say year. I have year, I have the employee ID as, let's say, A, and year is 2017, and this is month 1 to, let's say, month 12. ठीक है, so this is for 2017 employee B. ठीक है, yeah, there are certain values. Now if I convert this into a log table, ठीक है, so ideally I will have how many columns? I will have where is it? I will have year, I will have employee ID, I will have attributes, which is what? And I will have attribute is basically the month categories, and I will have values. So year is 2017, employee is which one? A, employee ID is A, and attribute is 01. Let's say it is hyphen. Okay. Now from F01, it will be till how much? 12. So these will be repeated how many times? So for a single year, for a single, sorry, so for a single year, for a single employee, 12 rows are getting increased. So imagine multiplied with the number of employees, right, in a particular year and the number of years. So those many number of rows will be increased. Correct? So this is what now 2017 again employee B, and similarly इसका भी यहाँ पे ऐसे रिपीट होगा. So this is long table. अब इसका एडवांटेज यहाँ पे क्या है कि I can simply just filter the hyphen and it won't, basically I won't be losing any data over here. सिर्फ जो blank values है, जो hyphen है, सिर्फ वो remove होंगे यहाँ पे, right? So this concept is known as what? This one cross tab का. If you are making from a log table to a cross tab or a white table, what that concept is called? Pivoting. If you want to reverse the process, unpivoting. So this is pivoting and this is unpivoting. Okay. So if you see which columns I want to unpivot, obviously this months, because these columns are pivoted. I want to treat all the categories of month as a single column, not separate columns. So that is unpivoting. So shift and I will just select all the 12 months. Done. Now I have an option over here in the transform tab, which is unpivot columns. And I'm saying unpivot only selected columns. Once I do that, done. It's converted into the long table format. I have just selected the months columns and I have just unpivoted them. So now I will give the name as months. And I will give this name as value as targets. Okay. Okay, renamed, every step is recorded. Unpivoted, only selected. I can now just filter for the hyphen, which won't lead to any loss of data. Done. See, now I can use this table. Now this table is configured. So let me just name it as sales targets. Okay. And I will say file, close and apply. So now you understand why it takes so much time in data pre-processing. Okay, so we have configured each and every table over here. So you need to configure your table, keeping two things in mind. That keeping three things in mind, that you need to only get the relevant data wherever it is possible to avoid the tables, entire tables to import, avoid that, because you need to keep your dashboard light. And you also need to consider the tables such that you can you can basically define the relationship between the tables based on schemas. So there are certain type of schemas we will follow, which is based on business requirements. Okay?
कंपनीज में तो ना टेक्निकल ज्यादा ही होता है, तो मुझे ये टेबल्स तो बहुत ज्यादा होता है,
Yes, definitely.
करते करते दिन दिन
So that's a one-time thing, na? Like that is the best part about it. Once you have done this, you can switch to the next project. So now, if the data gets, let's say, if the data gets updated, next time I don't have to do anything. It will be automatically refreshed using the PowerBI service once it is published on the PowerBI service. And so all the calculations, all the filtering steps, all the cleaning steps, all the analysis, everything will be done automatically. Okay. So we have understood the business requirement. We then got the data from different sources. Now we will define the relationship between the tables. So before defining the relationship, let's understand the type of schemas. ठीक है? अब देखो, हमने जो SQL में किया था ना, SQL में we did relational data modeling. ठीक है? SQL में we did relational data modeling. In Power BI, we don't do relational data modeling. We do dimensional data modeling. ठीक है? So if you see, one second. अब रिलेशनल डेटा मॉडलिंग में क्या था कि SQL सर्वर में the relations were defined between each and every table wherever it was possible to define the relation. Yes or no? But Power BI में ऐसा नहीं होता है. Power BI में you have to follow certain schemas to define the relationship. You simply cannot define the relationship between the table just for the sake of defining the relationship because they have that particular column over there. Clear? So relational data modeling is simply just defining any to because यहाँ पे क्या है कि you have to make sure the flow of the data is consistent. Because ठीक है, अब रिलेशनल डेटा मॉडलिंग कब करते हैं? When you want to generate normal reports. जैसे SQL में होता था कंसोल में आउटपुट, those are known as normal reports. ठीक है? Dimensional data modeling when you build a dashboard. So for the dashboard, you will be performing dimensional data modeling. And there are certain type of schemas that we follow for the dimensional data modeling. The first one is star schema. Second one is snowflake. And the third one we have is galaxy. The third one we have is galaxy schema. ठीक है? अब स्टार स्कीमा में क्या होता है? Which type of schema you are going to follow depends on your business requirement. Whatever your business objective is and the kind of tables that you are getting, that depends on that which type of schema you are going to go with among these three. The highest level of complexity in this among the three is in galaxy schema. So I'll tell you the complexity level. The simplest of all is the star schema. Then the complexity level increases in snowflake, and the most complex is the galaxy one. ठीक है? When I say complex, that means अब स्टार स्कीमा में क्या होता है? In star schema, there's one fact table and multiple dimension tables. Right? All the dimension tables have a relationship with the fact table. Generally, the relationship is from fact to dimension is many to one. Dimension is one. Okay. Guys, clear till this point? Generally, the relationship between the fact table has foreign keys. Dimension table has generally primary keys. So it is from fact table to dimension table. Either the relationship is 1-to-1, but generally it is many to one. See, snowflake. So which kind of schema will be following over here in this case study? Star schema. We have a single fact table and multiple dimension table. Okay, depends. Again, depends. Snowflake. There's one fact table and multiple dimension tables. The dimension tables have a relationship with the fact table. Or I can say multiple dimension tables are connected with the fact table. And dimension tables are also connected with other dimension tables. Provided other dimension tables in hierarchical structure. मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया था ना, प्रोडक्ट टेबल, प्रोडक्ट कैटेगरी, प्रोडक्ट सब कैटेगरी. अगर मैं तीनों टेबल को इंपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ, so I'll be connecting the product table with the fact table based on product key. Then I'll be connecting the product key with the product subcategory key table and product subcategory key table, product subcategory table with the product category table based on product category key. So hierarchical structure is there. So in that scenario, I will go with Snowflake. Okay. So coming to the Galaxy part, there's multiple fact tables and multiple, not as such, but yeah, depends again on the business requirement. If I want to do an analysis at the enterprise level, organization level, that may include multiple fact tables. So then I'll be going with Galaxy scheme. There's multiple fact tables and multiple dimension tables. Multiple fact tables are connected with multiple dimension tables, and multiple dimension tables are connected with multiple fact tables. Clear? We have multiple fact tables, multiple dimension tables, one fact table can be connected to multiple dimension tables, and one dimension table can be connected to multiple fact tables. So let me just write it over here. That is one dimension table can be connected to multiple fact tables, and one fact table can be connected to multiple dimension tables. So is the difference clear between these three? Guys, is the difference clear between these three? Generally, in the industry, we use star schema. Okay? And at times, we go with Snowflake also. The reason we try to avoid these, the more the complexity of the schema increases, the complex it becomes to keep, basically to do the analysis. Because you have to remember the flow of the data, and it is very difficult to understand the errors in that scenarios. Because यहाँ पे data flow बहुत important है. Star schema is the simplest of all. अब this is first thing. What is the second reason? कि जैसे ही complexity increase हो जाती है, तो time duration in executing the queries also increases. Because जहाँ पे एक simple सा data flow structure है, यहाँ पे the data flow structure is very complex. And Galaxy schema में उससे complex हो जाता है. So let me show you how these looks like. So if I show about star schema, so this is how the star schema looks like. You have single fact table and multiple dimension tables. This is a pictorial view of the star schema. Okay? Now let me show you the other schemas as well. Just give me a minute. Uh, So this is typically what star schema looks like. You have a single fact table and multiple dimension tables, and all the dimension tables are connected with the fact table. Then this is a typical picture of the snowflake schema. You have a single fact table and the dimension which is connected to the dimension tables, and the dimension tables are connected to the other dimension tables based on hierarchical structure. For example, अभी हमारे पास जो data था, let's say I can consider this as a product table, this is a product subcategory table, and this as a product category table, right? But if I say कि let's say दूसरा example ये हो सकता है कि ये प्रोडक्ट टेबल है, ठीक है? प्रोडक्ट टेबल आल्सो हैज द प्रोडक्ट की and the product subcategory key. So this schema that will look like this: product category and product subcategory. Depends on what kind of data you are having. If you are just having so अब देखो यहाँ पे data यहाँ से यहाँ flow होगा, फिर यहाँ से यहाँ flow होगा. अगर bidirectional है तो it will be very time consuming then. So you have to remember the flow of the data between multiple tables, and you have a lot of tables. हाँ, नहीं वो टेबल के अंदर ही आएगा. तो ideally our approach is what जहां तक possible है we'll stick to star schema unless and until there is no point until unless I'm not able to perform my analysis using star schema, then I switch to Snowflake. But till the point it is possible, then I can stick to the star schema. I will stick to the star schema because यहाँ पे it's very simple to remember the flow of the data और query execution time भी कम होगा क्योंकि कम complex schema है. It is not that complex. Simply the data is flowing from the dimension to the fact. Now much more complex we have is Galaxy schema, where multiple dimension tables are connected. Let's say a single dimension table is connected to multiple fact tables, and a single fact table is connected to multiple dimension tables. So one dimension table can be connected to multiple fact tables, and one fact table can be connected to multiple dimension tables. That's what Galaxy schema is. So this is also very like complex structure. So when I say complex, so it will make the queries very complex to write. First of all, second, it will make the execution time very slow because a lot of data is flowing over here in different directions from different tables. But यहाँ पे the structure is very simple. The data is just flowing from the dimension to the fact. That's it. Clear? So till the point it is possible that you can avoid the snowflake, you can just stick to the star schema. Okay. Guys, clear till this point? Everyone? Clear or not? So if I go to this, say data view, you are able to see the data view, even if you filter a data for a particular, let's say title, and it won't reflect any changes in your dashboard or visuals. Okay. So if I, let's say, let me create a table as a visual for now, and I'm saying I need product category, and with that, I want the sales also. Okay. Where is the sales? Sales amount? This one. PowerBI is a drag and drop, I told you. Simply do that. I have summarized my data. See, here I don't need to even create a pivot table. I can change this. If I want to change it to bar chart, I can simply, my visually selected, I can simply select on the column chart. It will be changed to column chart in that scenario. But what is the problem with this? Let me convert this back into the table. What's the problem with this? सेम क्यों आ रही है? सेम क्यों है? ग्रैंड टोटल भी सेम है और ये भी सेम आ रहा है, which is not possible. Why is it happening? Why this thing is happening over here? It is taking the aggregation of the sales amount column, but why is it not bifurcating as per the categories? Because let's say let me create another visual. Okay, let me create another table over here. Back to report. So let me just create another table, and in this table I will get let's say employee key, for example, just for now understanding. Or I should get product key, take a product ID, which is, and I am getting the sales amount. ये count ले रहा है ना? It should not take count. I am making it right click. So we have different options. show value as no calculation. If you want to take percentage of grand total, that can also be done. Then median, variance, standard deviation, count, all these options I have. I want to say don't summarize. Basically, treat this as a text. If I see here, it is getting bifurcated on the basis of the product key, but not product category. So, what do you think the reason for this? Total is same, but it is getting bifurcated as per the product key. Now, product category column is in which table? Okay, I have taken the product key column from which table? No, this is I have taken from the product sales table. If I take it from the product table, it won't show me bifurcation. Reason for that is what? There is no relationship. Okay, how it is possible? First of all, I think I deleted these. But if I say about product table, where is the product table? Yeah, because there is no relationship. It's incorrect. There is no relationship defined between the product table and the sales table. Is it? So what it is doing is when I'm dragging the product category, it is giving me the unique categories of the product, right? When I'm dragging the sales, it is giving me the total sales for each, like the overall sales. It is repeating the overall sales because relationship is not defined. So it is aggregating first and then displaying the values. What you can do is simply what I will do over here is I will go to this file section and I will say options and settings, options. So PowerBI is intelligent enough to detect the relation. I will go to this security probably, security data load, and यहाँ पे एक option checked है, which is auto detect new relationships after the data is loaded. Because since I loaded the data for the color formats and so based on the common column, it is linking it. So I am saying do not auto detect, uncheck it. Okay? Because I want to build the relationship from the scratch. Ideally, when you're working on a project, you should check this and just cross verify your relations. That's what you need to do. And I'll click on OK. Done. Okay? And I will just I will say manage relationship and I will delete these relations. Okay? See, based on common column, it has identified the relation. So I will say close. Used to previous version of Power BI. I've just updated it 2 days back. Where is it? I have to get used to it. Close that. Okay? Because the relationship is not defined between those two tables, there is no flow of data, right? Between the tables. So you are getting the aggregated value at the column level for each of the category of the other table. So that is why defining the relationship in Power BI is very important, which is data modeling, which we will perform in data modeling tab. Okay? Okay, so let me just delete this. Okay. So in the data, you have these tables. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to look for hierarchies in the table. But before getting the hierarchies, I want to perform data enrichment. What is data enrichment? Adding more value to the data, right? Let's say, अगर मैं बात करता हूँ, for example, let's say if a delivery company, let's say a food company means Zomato or Swiggy, okay, how it decides what will be the delivery charges? What are the various factors? It decides for the delivery charges, distance. No, fuel consumption is not a distance. Then number of employees. If you are delivering a single order, how that particular delivery charge is decided? No, how it is decided? What are the factors? Congestion on the roads. How much traffic is it? What time? Congestion or time. Let's say if you're ordering late at night, then they will charge more. Locality. So weather. If it's a rainy season, the charges are very high. So all these are doing what? They are enriching the data, right? These all information is enriching the data. So how we will do this in Power BI is, let's say I have these I have these variables, which are geographical variables, right? In the reseller, this one, state, province, and then what, city and region. These are geographical variables. I want to plot them on the map. So if they are text, it, there's no possibility that it is going to pick up the latitude and the longitude. I need to tell the PowerBI that it's a geographical variable. So I have what I will do. Let's say this is city. I will tell PowerBI that it is a city. So I will select this variable, go to the property section. Here, if you drag down, you have the data type is what? Text. Okay? Then I will go to the advanced option. Here, what is the data category? It is not categorized into data category. If you check the data categories, so these all are the data categories we are having, which is address, city, continent, country, region, country, latitude, longitude. Like, what is it? Is it a web URL, image URL, barcode? What is it? So I will say it's what? City. So it will pick up the longitude and the latitude from the backend for that particular city. Since it's a real data, so it will pick it up city. So now I have categorized my data. Can you see the globe symbol over here? Now this is ready to be used for the map visual. Now you can basically drag this on the map visual. You will be able to see the cities over there. Similarly, in case of country region, I'll do the same thing. Country region done. In case of the postal code also, I have the postal code as. So I have the postal code also. State, province. These are the data categories I'm having. State or province, one of the above. Done. So I have done the data enrichment for the reseller table. Similarly, I have geographical variables in the sales region. So country, group, region. So country, I will categorize as country or region. Then in the group, I will categorize this as a group. So there is no group as such.
Continent.
It is continent?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's check just once. Salesperson.
Sales team.
One second. Sales, which one?
Region.
Sales region. Okay. Okay. Group is continent. Yeah. So I'll just go back and I will click the group as continent. Done. Region as region. What is region? Let me check. Northwest, central, southeast. It is a country only or something else. This is continent. USA is a country. Region is what? Country region. So yeah, it will pick up that as a region. Northwest, north, south. Okay. So yeah. So other tables are not having any geographical variables as such, which requires data categorization. Okay. Now one more thing over here. Okay. Clear, guys? How you will do your data enrichment part? This is one thing. Now let me just save it till this point. If you see over here, if I drag something like in a, let's say card, I'm using this card visual. So I am dragging sales amount or standard cost. It is giving me by default as what? Sum, but I want to change the default aggregation of the standard cost because every time I don't want to take it as a sum, I want to take it as a count, let's say. Okay, so what I will do, I will go back to this model view and I will go to the sales table, click on this standard cost and this properties. So if you see advanced option, what is the summarized default summarization? So I can change it to, let's say, count. Once I do that, it is working. Done. Okay, done. Now if I go back, the report view, it's a, now if I drag it again, I will drag it again. What I'm getting by default? Basically, we had around 57,851 records. So that is what it is displaying. So now every time I display this, it will show me the count only. Okay, I'm reversing it. I don't want to show count, but this is how you can change the default aggregation of a continuous variable. Yeah, because for the categorical, it is by default count. So yeah, let me report. Okay, clear till this point? Take it. Any queries till whatever we have done today, till data enrichment part? Okay. So what we are left with is we will define the relationships between the tables manually. After that, we will understand the decks. We'll be basically deriving the KPIs. So this should be done on Monday's class. If I talk about the Tuesday part, on Tuesday, we will be working on advanced visualizations. Okay? Basically advanced visualizations, and if possible, we will see on how to so decks. Yeah. And we will also see if it is possible, we will build a dashboard also. Otherwise, in the next class, we will see that. Okay? Okay. So this was the overview of the upcoming classes. Any queries till this point, let me know. Guys, any query offline, any query till this point? Say yes or no at least. No? Clear? Okay. So I'll stop for today.